How are you doing?
How you doing?
I've been in the audience here a lot of times, so I knew your face, and the homeowners meeting you came to. Oh, that's right. This is a 6-year chart of our production.
Meeting called to order. Councilmember Leathers. Here. Councilmember Chapman. Here. Councilmember Clinton is absent. So Mayor Quinn. Here. Mayor Moore.
Here.
Please stand for common prayer and for election. We will now salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As to why the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, as proposed, has been defined in the following manner. Hearing the notice towards the Asbury Park Press that goes through the Star Ledger on January 22nd, 2024, and post office bulletin board the same date. All notices are on file with the city clerk. At this time, we have a presentation by the Environmental Shade Tree Commission for the community.
I'm going to do us first. So, you're done, they go right to questions.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're out of Italy, Lisa. You're back in America.
Members of the council, Councilmember Leathers.
Yes, I do. Good evening, everyone. So I just wanted to report out to you. First of all, I have been asked by some of the residents when they see me out in the community, what committees are you on? And I shared what I serve on, recreation, the Asbury Park Housing Authority, and also APTV. And they asked me about, well, what about the minutes? So can you share that with us? So I'm speaking for myself. I am going to report out to you on the committees that I serve. So one is recreation. And next Thursday, we have something for our little balloons, and it is the trunk or treat. And I put a call out at our last meeting, we've been at the Homeowners Association, and I asked for volunteers, and I am really happy to say that you all responded well. You have donated candy, and we have about 34 or 40 cars, and the kids are really going to have a wonderful time. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for your generosity and participating to make this a really fun event. And then Miss Cassandra Dickinson, she has been working really hard on a fun day, and it is this Saturday. It's going to be at Sunset Park, and it's from 1 to 4 p.m. and that's between Main Street, 5th, and Sunset Avenues. So come out and celebrate fall with free fun foods and giveaways. So that's this Saturday, and I hope to see you then. So that's my report, and I thank you so much. That's all.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Councilmember Chapman.
So I'd just like everyone to know that the Asbury Park Arts Council is pleased to present its 3rd annual AP and 3 screening premiere event on Sunday, November 3rd, 6:30 at the Jersey Shore Arts Center in Neptune. The event will showcase the films of 11 finalists of this year's AP and 3 Film Challenge, the only filmmaking event held in Asbury Park. The challenge requires filmmakers to produce a 3-minute film using specific requirements shot in Asbury Park over the course of 3 weeks, and then judged by a panel of film creatives. And it's really a cool event, so I hope you'll look and see it. The films are great, it's a lot of fun, and it supports the Asbury Park Arts Council.
Thank you. Mayor Quinn.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge a community activist we lost in the last couple of weeks, Catherine Murphy. She was integral in moving Asbury
Asbury Park in a more green and equitable direction. And so we give our heartfelt condolences to her family and Asbury and Windsor. Thank you. Mayor Moore.
Yeah, I'll just echo that also. She was Catherine was a good friend, and she was very instrumental in the North End Boardwalk. And there will be a bench one day on the North End in honor of her. And I'm so happy 2 weeks ago she was here and she spoke in the microphone. And nobody saw this coming, so it is all hard. But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Matters from City Manager. Nothing. Matters from City Attorney. We're now on to a presentation of the community garden by the environmental change. Tom, are you calling that? Yes, I think both are coming out.
For those of you who are on that side of the room, if you come here, you can see the video. It's a drone video of all the gardens in Asbury Park and all the ones that the Shade Tree Commission and the Community Farm has. So, look at that. Okay, the very first thing I'd like to start talking about is the Arbor Day celebration this year, 2024. It was entitled Make Grand Avenue Green Again, and as a result of that, we planted 20 trees on Grand Avenue so that we could begin to turn it into another kind of green passageway. And there were 17 trees that were planted around the city, other than on Grand Avenue. And then there were 60 smaller trees that were front yard and backyard trees that we distributed at the Clearwater Festival to anybody in the town who wanted them. So we had a total of 97 trees that we actually planted and distributed just since April of this year. We were also notified that according to the Department of Environmental Protection, we have to have a removal and replacement ordinance for trees, especially ones that are dying and ones that are dead, and even for trees that are alive that people would like to have removed. And the ordinance requires us to be responsible for all trees, whether it's on city property or private property. So there is an application that people have to fill out, and they get that from the Department of Public Works. They then call upon the Shade Tree Commission to go out and to assess the tree, whether it's dying, dead, and so forth, because according to our analysis, they're going to simply remove it and replace it, and that'll be it. Or if they want to remove a tree that's really alive, they're going to have to pay for that or replace other trees in town. And that's gone slowly, but it's worked rather well so far. This year we were designated as the 22nd Tree City year, and so we have been very close to keeping our record with the New Jersey Tree Arbor Day program. Let's see. We have 27 perennial gardens, many of which you can see. This is the Cannonball one, or the Civil War Park, or now they call it Kavinsky Park embarrassingly, but it's there. And the gardens are just doing beautifully. We've been very fortunate to have irrigation placed over here on Fifth Avenue and Sunset Avenue, so we have the Rotary Garden, and we also have the Veterans Park Garden, and we also have the Butterfly Garden, as you can see right there. That's probably one of the more attractive ones in town. We get an awful lot of people who come to see it, especially in springtime, when daffodils and tulips and such are in bloom, as well as the trees. Speaking of those beautiful cherry trees, we just planted 6 more there about 2 Saturdays ago. So the whole place is really beginning to come alive, and I can't tell you how many times people stop and just simply say thank you, thank you, thank you. They're really appreciative, because we have enough concrete, getting enough glass put up, we're getting enough cement and everything else, but now we have gardens. And we have places that are warm and welcoming, and people can sit and they can rest, and it feels like a community. It makes all the difference in the world, so we're pleased to do that. I'd like to talk about Atkins Avenue. That's one of the gardens that's on the west side. It's on a lot that was empty for many, many years. And so we talked with the DPW to see if we could make a clearance there, because it was just nothing but a trash pile for a long time. And that's between Atkins and Avenue A, right? And so the DPW went out there, they cleaned it up, they put a whole pavement area in there, and the Shade Tree Commission has taken on the responsibility of calling it a beautiful place for people, again, to sit, to rest, and relax. The two most important people on the commission, well, one's on the commission, Donna Tropoli, and the other one's her husband, Judge Ron Tropoli, and they do a weekly greening there. And the greening for us is a project at any one of the gardens that we go to. So they're very much responsible for that. What I'd like to do tonight is officially request from the council to consider renaming that park. We call it Atkins Park. Well, in 1929, Fats Waller lived on Atkins Avenue, and he wrote this very first and one of his most famous songs, Honeysuckle Rose. And I'd love for us to rename that Honeysuckle Rose Garden, because he lived right there, and he's a legend in terms of jazz and so forth. So if we could make that something that we could consider, that would be wonderful. I have a question about the pollinator garden on Lake Avenue. I was here a few weeks ago asking about possibly protecting that garden because of people coming off the bridge and running down on their bikes, creating a real problem for us because they're dangerous. Because the garden grows, they don't see kids, they don't see dogs, they don't see older people walking, and they zoom right by them, and they could very easily hurt somebody. I was thinking of considering a split rail, not a fence that's going to go all the way down, but just that would stop them from going down that close to the garden, because they're only really about 1.5 feet away from where the garden is, and they can't see anything except what's ahead of them. And if there's people coming in on either side, they're going to hit somebody, they're going to get hurt themselves. So I would like you to consider putting that some kind of a guardrail there, so that we could have that safety. Next, I'd like to talk about our volunteers. We have loads of volunteers. As you were coming in today, you were seeing the garden behind us, the Gratitude Garden, which honors all of our COVID first responders. And we just weeded that place today and pruned it completely. So it's ready now for winter. We have what we call greetings, and we meet every Wednesday, we meet every Saturday. In the cool weather, it's from 8 to 10. In the hot weather, it's from 9 to 11. And in the cooler weather, it's 8 to 10. And we have about, maybe 40 people who volunteer online. They don't all come. We have a good, cadre of about 15 to 20 people who come every single time. We also have what's called SUGs, spontaneous, unscheduled greetings. So when people come on the Wednesday and the Saturday, they may also get a notice to come on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Friday, and even on a Sunday, and they come. And that's how we take care of all of our gardens. Just to let you know, we've just, based on about 10 people at every one of our greetings, we spend since March to November, 2,880 hours in the garden. Those are all volunteer people spending all that kind of time. We call those the sweat hours. And you do sweat, you really do. Eileen knows that, so does Amy. Next, I'd like to address what's going to happen. I can't wait to see it happen. The Christmas tree at Press Plaza. We talked about it with the environmental, rather with the DPW. So on Saturday of last week, we completely cleaned the area where a tree could be planted. On Monday of this week, the the DPW went out there and dug and dug and dug, and they got to, I guess, about 8 or 9 feet down, and they found a block of cement that was easily 4 feet by 4 feet with a huge pillar of stone on it, and they dragged that out. Must have been for a traffic light somewhere along the line. And so now that ground is perfectly ready. Spoke with a nursery owner who we get our trees from, and he was wonderful. And I love him because he's just so clear and honest. He said, "Do you have a water service there?" Meaning irrigation. And I said, "No, but we are going to ask the council to have one installed." He said, "Good, because if you don't, I won't sell you a tree." He said, "The current weather is killing my crop." He said, "You put a tree there without irrigation, it'll be gone." So we need a water service. And the tree, he already has about 3 shipments coming in. He's looking for the tallest one he can possibly get. We were looking for a blue spruce, but they're personally, right now, they're being affected by something called needle cast, meaning all the needles are beginning to dry up and fall off. So they're not growing large blue spruces. So we're going to get a Norway spruce, which is much healthier. The next thing we're going to continue doing is tagging, removing, and replacing the trees with the help of the DPW. That's going to be an ongoing process because we have a number of older trees in town that are dying. I mean, you're going to see them, especially now as the leaves begin to fall, because they've been cut and all that kind of stuff. They look like, well, they don't look good anyway. We also have plans to create 3 new gardens next year that are going to be for public consumption. And they're going to be herb gardens. We'd like to have one at Deal Lake, we'd like to have one at Sunset Lake, we'd like to have one at Weston Lake. And we're going to create them in such a way so that people are invited to come. They can take rosemary or they can mint or whatever it happens to be. And it'll be, again, another one of those things that invites people to come in, to enjoy it, to take something home with them, and to use it. And the last thing, which is something new for us, people from Ocean Grove have been coming over to look at our gardens, and they just think they're terrific. And we've been collaborating with them and helping them develop their own gardens in Ocean Grove. We're not giving them anything except our advice and stuff along those lines, and it's worked really, really well. Because, you know, Ocean Grove has a kind of a history of being a little inimical to anybody in Asbury Park. And these people really want to create a good connection. And they love our gardens, so they're going to start doing that there, and we're glad to help them. Next, I'd like to talk about Deal Lake. Now, this is a tough one, because Deal Lake doesn't really have any irrigation at all, from Main Street all the way to the end, by the beach, actually. And there's this one big patch of land at the very, very far end, where there are some benches, but there's nothing there except weeds. If we could somehow create an irrigation system for that in particular, and then for some of the wider areas on Deal Lake. We can't do the entire lake because it's broken up by streets, for one thing. And secondly, there are some areas that are so narrow, there'd be nothing to irrigate there, just grass. But if we had maybe 3 different sections of irrigation, we could actually create more perennial gardens like we have here. And we have a lot of people that who live in the Deal Lake area who are asking for that, and they would love to take care of it. So that's one of the things that we're looking to. And then, of course, the favorite of mine is my van that we have used is 26 years old. Can you believe it? It's almost as old as me. And it's beginning to show signs of trying to catch its breath and trying to run. It's dying. And if we don't have that van, we have no storage at all. So all of our tools, no matter what we have, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Well, I know what will happen to them. They'll go into my garage. But we'll never have them for greens because we never can get them there. We need something. The DPW has willingly given us some of their trucks, bit antiquated. And one of them you can actually see the ground as you're driving because there's holes in the floor. So they're old, but I think we do need some help. So I'm just asking you to consider that. I oh, by the way, for my work, I pay the insurance, thankfully the city gives me gas. And I also take care of it in terms of maintenance, because it's not a city truck, so we can't ask DPW to help us. And that's it. So I'm coming in with all kinds of success, and then I'm leaving with a plea. Please, please, get us a storage. Here. And now I want to introduce you to, this one, well, she asked me not to say this, but I'm going to, because she knows I will. Nancy and I have this wonderful relationship where we're constantly going back and forth with one another, and she calls me the old man, and I call her the old woman. In any event, Nancy is the head of the farm. When we gave it up as something that the volunteers were doing, Nancy took it over and has just done an amazing job. She is constantly working on it, and well, she can tell you all the kind of things that they've given away. People come and love what they get. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay, well, after all those things you asked for, I'm afraid to talk.
I just want to try.
I'm just gonna read my speech, which starts with, thank you, City Council and City Manager, for inviting us to share how we're doing. And to the people in the audience who may not know, we have a farm garden, a little farm garden, right outside these windows. It's wedged between the building and the train track. And about 10 years ago, this unused space, the EST volunteers turned into a community vegetable garden. Originally, it contained several beds that were rented to city residents, and that didn't go over real well. So EST installed a fence, and they started managing the beds on their own. And as Tom said, 6 years ago, he asked me to concentrate my effort on that garden, which I do. And we've increased our output to about 2,000 pounds a year. It's just a little tiny garden, 2,000 pounds of vegetables.
Free.
Huh?
Free.
Free, yeah, well. The garden has 24 beds, several planter boxes and planting bags. We have a drip water system and a greenhouse. And the plants are all started in the greenhouse. Some of them are started at my house from seeds, specifically selected for disease resistance. We use row covers and grow tunnels. We don't use any pesticides. That's what the disease resistance is about. We have about 30 different crops, but several varieties of them, such as tomatoes. We have 5 or 6 varieties. Peppers, we have 5 or 6 varieties. Some people like it really hot, and some people like them really sweet. And we try to get the crops that will meet the culinary interest of our various ethnic groups in the city. And each year, we introduce new crops and we urge the public to try them, and they like to do that, and they swap recipes with us. On average, 25 people come to the stand each week to get our fresh, locally grown, non-pesticide, just harvested food for their family. If we assume a family is 4 people, this little garden provides vegetables for 100 people a week. That's a big number. 6 months of the year. Originally, but if you, I have all these charts here. The total number of guests this year was 579. So if you take the 579 and multiply it times 100 a week, we've got 5,000 healthy meals we're giving out for their 6-month period. Okay? I need you to remember that number. It was, previous to that, it was an unused city lot that's been transferred into an oasis. Not only are our recipients multi-ethnic and multi-generational, but so are our volunteers. Some of us are retired, some hold jobs, and we have 2 young teenagers who have been coming to help us plant and harvest every week. They also help us with translation at the stand. 7 of our adult volunteers are Rutgers certified master gardeners. We advise local people and county residents on various agricultural topics. We advise our guests about nutritional value of fresh produce and encourage them to try new things. This past summer, we offered 3 open garden days when residents were invited to walk through the garden and ask questions about how we grow certain things. In addition, we hosted 2 tours of community service individuals from Whole Foods Grocery, and they rewarded us with 100 pounds of beans and rice that we distributed at the stand. We often receive small donations at the stand. We don't ask for them. We use this money to go out and pick fresh peaches and apples that we bring back and give away at the stand. And this is especially nice because we have a lot of residents who don't have an opportunity to go out in the orchard and pick their own fresh apples. So originally the stand was open from July and August. Now it's open mid-May till mid-October. We're in the process of putting the beds to sleep. However, the planning has begun for next year. We use the charts that I gave you to analyze our success and determine what to change. We will soon be ordering the seeds, and they start germinating in February, March. In order to provide for the community, the garden needs replacement of the raised beds, hopefully using a cost-efficient design. It's quite expensive to replace all the beds. The number I was told was around 20,000. So we could actually replace some of the most damaged beds first. And 2 years ago, DPW came in and they enhanced all the corners of the beds, and that's working fairly well. Those corners will probably hold up another season. Some of the beds are not going to hold up another season. Additionally, our drip water system needs constant maintenance, and it should be considered as a full replacement at some point. But the biggie is the beds. So we want to say that the volunteers are committed to sustaining the work, and we thank the city for their support.
And to add to Nancy, the Shade Tree Commission created a 501c3, Friends of, in order for us to have extra money, especially for the farm, because it's expensive. We already replaced the beds twice. This will be the 3rd time. And so just to know that if it weren't for the Friends of, it would be really difficult to keep that going. We had a fundraiser this past Sunday, and it was a great success. We raised about $3,000, and much of that's going to get funded right into the farm.
And they bought the greenhouse.
And we also
So we don't have to go to the nursery and buy all the plants. We can start our own. We can start them all season long. We can get the varieties we want that work best. Great.
Thank you. Could you introduce your 2 teenage volunteers? Bring them up and introduce them, please.
they're Nancy's girls. Come girls.
They're wonderful. They started coming because their parents were coming to get vegetables, and then they convinced their moms that they wanted to work in the garden.
And when they started, they were just about that high.
They've been with us
I had to call it
3 years. Yeah.
was Memorial, but they're not little anymore. Is that, and you're out.
And-
And then next week,
To come and start working with us. It's a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now on to public participation and motion to meeting the public. All in favor? Public participation portion is now open, and under the public wishing to speak, please use the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and wait 3 minutes time limit for each speaker, and your name and address for the record.
Nancy Savino, 1004th Avenue. I
I'd like to know the Third Avenue traffic lights have been put up now for a couple of weeks, and I was just wondering when they're going to be activated and useful, because people are crazy with the road changes and the traffic lights and the stop signs, and what do you look at when do we have an ETA?
Is that your one question?
Yep.
Okay, so we're waiting on New Jersey Transit. We own them for close to 6 months. They have to be synchronized with the railroad crossings. So we would love to have them up tomorrow. They're not going to be up tomorrow. Hopefully by Thanksgiving. And again, New Jersey Transit hold this up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Oh, I have a question. Yeah.
Evening, Regina Fillin, 506 Avenue, Asbury Park. First, I wanted to commend you on the beautiful See Here Now festival. I thought it was amazing. I wanted to go back to many city council meetings prior when you were committing funds for transportation at the boardwalk and the ocean. And I had asked for a spigot to wash our feet where the playground is on 7th Avenue, and never happened. And so we went another season of children coming off the playground and queuing to showers, which, by the way, the showers the water just blows onto the personnel that we hire to check the badges. So it's kind of uncomfortable for them. And I thought it might be prudent to take a look at what we've done up at Surfers Beach and Dog Beach, which is just lovely. But, you know, for the family beach, it's kind of lacking. That brings me to another point. We want people to come into Asbury Park and to enjoy our beautiful city. But we do not enable them to change their clothes anywhere. And all we do is put up signs, no changing your clothes in the women's room or the men's room. But they do, because it's understandable. They're paying a hell of a lot of money to park. They're paying money to get onto the beach with their family, and then they want to enjoy a stroll possibly down the boardwalk, or maybe visit some of our beautiful establishments. I think we need to consider putting up something that's more friendly to those coming in from out of the city, because it's almost like an elitist approach to people coming to use our beaches, that we want their money, we want them to park, we want them to pay, but they need to leave after they're done. And I think that's a disservice to the kindness of what our city stands for. So this is something we should maybe consider while they're redoing the frontage up by the boardwalk with the new development and the green spaces that will be there, right? So maybe we should look at that. Well, I was at an Asbury Park Homeowners Association meeting, and they gave a presentation of the new developments and the parking that will be going away and the green spaces that will be there. So I thought maybe we'd be somewhat preemptive with, hey, maybe we could throw in some changing areas. And then the last thing I want to ask is, on Main Street, I noticed that there's significant real estate that was purchased over a year ago that has continued to be boarded. And I'm wondering if the city has any guidelines for individuals or companies or LLCs that are coming in and buying our real estate and then just leaving it vacant.
Can you give us an exact address?
Sure. We have Kennedy's Chicken. We have Parisian Dry Cleaners. We have Max on Main, which has moved his establishment to Welch Farms or whatever, but then the building remains empty and vacant. We have the YMCA Cocoons on Main Street, where the vacancy is upstairs and seniors are just cocooned in there during the day. Those are four off the top of my
Okay,
head.
fantastic.
Or Medusa, right? Medusa was on the corner, and so many people have inquired, and they've done nothing with it.
We can't make people sell their buildings.
No, but I'm wondering, like,
But
are
it's
people-
boarding up, you're right. And can we look into that? That code,
Yes, yes.
look into that?
I just didn't know if we had guidelines for folks coming in and purchasing business real estate and then just letting it sit, waiting for the prices to go up to resale maybe in 2 or 3 years while our Main Street looks like it's, you know, kind of in shambles.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And the showers for 7th Avenue should be an easy fix next year, I would hope. Yeah, so that's gonna be easy.
Hi, Carrie Bush, 500 Lake Drive. I'm here to ask you guys to address, or help us address the parking situation on like Deer Lake Drive, 8th Avenue. Just recently, they put a curb cut and, or actually they fixed the street on 8th, which is a beautiful job. We're happy that you fixed the street. But in fixing the street, you took away about 3 spaces. Because now things are painted where there used to be 3 cars, not in front of Rita's house, but the house, that's the modern looking house on the corner of 8th and Grand. Used to be 3 cars could fit in front of them. Now only 1 can fit because the way it's been painted, it's atrocious. The parking situation, you know, when I first moved there, which was 20 years ago, never an issue. I guess it was more affordable. Now people are living 2 to 3 people in an apartment. They're having 2 to 3 cars per apartment, where sometimes I guess maybe 20 years ago, some of the apartments didn't even have a car. So it wasn't ever a problem. It's a huge problem right now. Because nobody wants to park 2 blocks away when they're coming home at 11 o'clock. And nobody wants to think, I can't move my car this weekend because I'm going to lose my space. Like, so it's a quality of life issue. So I'm hoping that we do something to address it, you know, very soon, because at the zoning board meeting, we just approved a subdivision that will allow for, I believe, 2 additional curb cuts. Depending on where those curb cuts go, it could really severely impact parking. So I'm coming to you guys sort of saying, can we have a meeting? Can you come to that neighborhood? Can you see what's going on? Can we talk about possibilities? But it has to, we are now developing at a rate that is far beyond exceeding our ability to live there. I mean, I can't imagine that the folks that are living there now that do not have off-street parking are being considered in any of these decisions. But yet, if we talk to the parking people, which I want to talk to the parking people about this, I want to see where the most tickets are written. And I bet you any amount of money, 500 Deer Drive and 8th Avenue and that section between Deer Lake and 8th, it's a tremendous moneymaker for the city of Asbury Park because we all get tickets, you know? Even if you're, I've gotten tickets for things that I shouldn't get tickets for because I'm parking in a legal space, but that's another situation. But what can we do? Can we have a meeting? Can we talk about, I mean, John, you on the parking committee?
Yes.
Can
So
you come
in the next
meet with a
meeting,
couple residents?
the next meeting is November the 6th at 5:30 right in this building.
Okay.
So I would say that would be a good place to start the conversation and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
And then as far as like, some things are out of our control, and I think I'm gonna be right, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The decision by the zoning board was forced upon them by a judge's order about that house. So I mean, it wasn't like the zoning board
Right.
did something, they were forced to do that.
But where it's cut could make a tremendous difference.
I totally agree with you, but again, the judge said, if you vote no, I'm holding you in contempt. So the zoning board had no choice except to vote how they voted.
Okay. All right, thank
But
you.
thank you, we'll see you on the 6th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, nobody else, motion to move to the close?
All in favor? Aye. This meeting is now closed. Right on to the minutes of the executive meeting and regular meetings of October 9, 2024, the motion. Second. Councilmember Bez Anderson. Councilmember Sutton. Yes. Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Consent agenda resolution, all items on consent agenda, since collecting the city council will be considered for for approval on vote. These matters are considered to be routine in nature, and there will be no due discussion of these items. If discussion is desired by one or more council members as to any particular item, the said item shall be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Agenda tonight, we have resolutions 2024-457 and 2024-458. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We're now on to individual resolutions. Resolution 2024-459, resolution approving payment of bills. Move it. Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman. Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-460, resolution authorizing payment for emergency sewer repairs. Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-461, resolution authorizing city of Asbury Park to execute a license agreement for encroachment into an area of the city right of way adjacent to the property located at 550 Kirkland Avenue, lot 3105, lot 4.01.
Move it.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-462, resolution authorizing streetscape maintenance jurisdictional agreement between the city of Asbury Park and the New Jersey Department of Transportation for State Route 71 Main Street.
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Councilmember Chapman. Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-463, resolution of the city council of the city of Asbury Park, New Jersey, amending the infrastructure component report for the water redevelopment area.
Second.
I have a question.
Good.
Explain it to me, please.
The explanation.
463, amending the infrastructure component report for the water redevelopment area.
This is amendment to infrastructure report to allow green bump outs at the intersections of 11, 6, 7, 8 Field Drive and the intersections of 6, 7, 8 and Gilly Drive at Kingsley Street.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-463, resolution awarding the bid for boardwalk edge removal and replacement project.
Move it. Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-465, resolution authorizing an award to artists for participatory budget art fetch program.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Quinn, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-466, resolution authorizing PEPPM cooperative purchasing ownership.
Move it.
Second. Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-467, resolution authorizing the release of the performance bond for 302 Atkins Avenue, block 1203, lot 1.
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Now, is there anything else on adjournment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned. Back to the-